Greetings again, comrades. I am Admiral Andre. Welcome back to the 5th episode of our career, which is picking up right where we left off in the previous episode with the Griffin. This is literally the same screen still. So, yes, I did save this. I just need to now do another test. So I think we need to just double check everything here. So the booster was fine. It is now increased in thrust, and the booster should also be recoverable now. I think the rest is fine, as long as we can use the wings to slow ourselves down enough before the parachute deploys, then I think that's it. It should also not, well, should being the operative word, hit the ground too fast to break the crew cabin. What's the speed limit there? 40 meters, oh come on, that's easy. So save it again. Alright, just clear that. Now, who is going to be our first test pilot for this mission? Let's see. We already used Valentina for the test, so I think she is the most experienced, so most of the tourists will really want to fly with her. She was the first Kerbal in orbit, so I think it makes sense. All of them just want sub-orbital flights. So Kima and Elnand, you are the first two civilians, as it were, to do a mission with the Kerbal Space Program. Anyway, Griffin 1, save that. We should have a separate flag for the tourists, don't you think? I usually don't use the company flags because they're company flags. These are our subcontractors. Although we could try and see whose parts we're using mostly. So that's C7, C7, this is mostly also C7 aerospace, so we're pretty much using their airplane for this. Should we use a C7 aerospace flag as well? Well, it's not really under their auspices though. Where is their flag? Maybe I'm just missing it. I swear there it is, C7 Aerospace Division. But I think for the tourists we'll use something fun and light and enjoyable and colorful. So what works best? Possibly Kerbal 2. Bullseye, we meet your tourist needs. Kerbin, this flag will save for planting on different planets and moons. What about the orbs? That's nice and colorful. Maybe a little too colorful. Spheres. Stripes. That could work. Yes, I think so. Plain and simple, comrades. We'll use the stripes for our tourist operations. So save again. Is everybody happy, strapped in and ready to go? We are still launching from the desert because that's how I like to do it still. And so let's go. And we are in the desert. Our comrades are ready to go. Right, so I do love this. I don't know why. It's this kind of romantic kind of vision of still these rogues in the desert doing their thing. Anyway, Valentina, are you ready to give the tourists a tour here? So let's go. 3, 2, 1. Good luck, comrades. We still take off with a little bounce there, but that's part of the tour. Elnand seems to be happy, but Kima is not completely convinced she did the right thing. Well, now she is. Okay, that's glad to see. They do pay a lot of money for this. I don't want them to feel that they wasted their money. Right, we do want to keep going mostly up just because we know it works best for reaching space in this case. We don't want a nice gravity turn. Right, we're going up and they seem very strangely calm. for the first space tourists, but I guess they were dreaming about this their whole life. And ditch that and ignite the next engine. And now we just hope we can make it. I'll start moderating our ascent as soon as we actually know for sure we'll get to space. There's the desert pyramids again. We reverted, so that's why we see it again. And Valentina is good at maintaining this approach. Let's have a look inside. Hey, comrade. I hope snacks are included on this tour. I think we can be assured of reaching space. We're already at 60 and we still have more than half a tank, so at least they get to see it. You also get those crazy tourists who actually want to pass out from G-forces, but this is not that kind of contract, and we're not that kind of space agency. Okay, 75, we'll moderate it a little once we get closer, because right now it's pretty steep back down. Now, of course, we still have this problem of where we're going to land. Hopefully we'll make it back to that Pelican Point. So far, so good. I'd pay to go on a tour like this, if I had the Kerbal bucks for that. Let's see inside the capsule again. Comrade, are you enjoying this tour? I want snacks. Now, where's my flight attendant? I see something right there, but they can't get out of their seats yet. They still have to keep their seatbelts on. The seatbelt sign is not turned off yet. Now we just need to make sure they spend some more time in space. Don't come back right away. Just extend the orbit a little bit. And once the burn is complete, they can get out of their seats and float around a little. Yes, we should make it to Pelican Point. Hopefully. And it's a good speed. Burn complete. Now you may take your seatbelts off and enjoy the rest of your flight. So they can now float around in their cabin and experience 0G. And Valentina can go give them some snacks while we just drift here. There's not much else to do now. And that was a very short jump in space. It's just the initial days of tourism, of course. And we are just going back now. Just make sure that we try a little bit to reach Pelican Point there. Everyone is excited and happy about this. And we didn't really tell them how we're going to land, but yeah, it's okay. I don't know if it's safe to time warp, but we'll do it 2 times. And their contracts were complete. They at least want to get into space. And we do get the heating, of course. I don't want to touch anything because it slightly delays the amount of time that we spend away from prograde. Okay, just turn that off again. As soon as I touch the controls, it will just go straight to prograde. You see, it's maxed out, so Valentina is just hanging on that stick. She is just trying desperately to avoid us slamming right into the ocean. But I think we're going to do that anyway. There we go. Back to prograde. Re-entry was an absolute joy. But yes, our first tourists will unfortunately have to be picked up from the ocean. and just move it a little up so we bleed off some more speed. I think tilting the wing did help a little bit with that. And that was also qualifying as hypersonic research at the edge of space. We suppose Valentina had some small scientific experiments to do. Subsonic now, and we can just get closer to the ground. Whoops, 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 whoops. What's happening here? Come on now. She lost control for a moment for some reason. I think it's now the tilting again that's working against us. Oh well, we just want to get close to the ground and then burn off as much speed as possible and then deploy the parachute. But it's safe to do so anyway. Stop. Tilt up quite aggressively and burn off the speed. Lady and gent, are you ready? And 3, 2, 1. As soon as we peek out there, now, bang, turn off the SAS. It's not perfectly balanced. Oh yes, of course, because the fuel is out. I should have tested it empty. Anyway, we will go into the water quite slowly. Fast forward, and I'll tilt up anyway just before we do hit the water. Doesn't make a difference, but we do recover the whole thing and everybody is happy. We just wait for recovery now. Bang, done. Our first tourist contract, and I think we got a little bit of science from that. Stage recovered, so we did get that back, at least another 1,500 Kerbal bucks, and suborbital complete, itinerary complete, and of course it's not the contract yet because there are still others who also need to go up, so let me do that. Is there any change I need to make to this craft? Yes, there is a slight change. Oops. Empty. Center of mass. Yes, it was actually better where it was. Just so we basically belly flop into the ocean. Then I think that's pretty much it. Grab this, and I think we'll leave the thrust on it. It was fine. So Griffin 1 is now complete, so this is Griffin 2, and for this one I will give Jeb the honors, and we'll take Nedler and Sherbart. Let's do that. In this case I'm just going to speed the whole process up. We've seen this now. Desert launch site, but this time I'm also going to send us to the north. I think we know the booster won't fall on anyone's house because it has a parachute, so it's fine. And messages, turn that off. Lock. Good luck, comrade. Just rotate to the north, and we're tilting a little bit here. Oh yes, Jeb doesn't yet have the pro-grade lock. We're going to the south. No. Easy. Right, comrades, I will get back to you as soon as something interesting happens, or the contract is complete. Oh no! Big mistake. Didn't return the fuel to the tank. This was a simulation, didn't happen. Ish. Now I can anyway just get us into the right orientation from the start. save again, go again. Comrades, isn't it amazing how far we've come in such a short time? I mean, we only have our second Kerbal in orbit right now, and Jeb has basically now done what he's done before, which was a great achievement of just reaching space, never mind orbit, and now we're doing it for tourists. Can you believe it? Anyway, an interesting point. And with such a nice looking plane. Anyway. Okay, this one might be a bit more dicey because our re-entry was much steeper than before. So I just need to focus on... You see, everyone's getting a bit worried with their tolerances now. We can't stay at 6 Gs for too long. Anyway, there, that's it. Don't want anyone to pass out, just wanted to burn off the speed. Okay, there's the salt flats, I guess. We can start making up land features and so on. So I'll say those are the salt flats in the burning desert, eternal desert. This is a fierce desert. It glows so bright we can barely look at this ground. Keep an eye on those consciousness meters. Everyone had a good time, and good grief, must be like, what would we say, 50 degrees centigrade here? Don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot. It's hot here, and it's noon as well, so you do want to stay in your capsule until recovery. And do the same thing we did before, tilt up and lose as much speed as possible. 10, and we'll see, right there's our peak. Deploy the thing, turn off the SAS, and it should deploy in a few seconds. There we go. Whoops, not a good idea to time warp too much. Whoa, this is a fierce desert. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's also obviously because we turned the brightness up in the 2 episodes ago. The ambient light boost, but still, this is a blinding desert. And 12 meters per second, so we did have to put some springs in their seats so that they wouldn't get hurt in the landing. And here we go, bang, oops, not great. Okay, maybe it is better to use this plane in the ocean. So we lost the engine and the tank, but anyway, success anyway. Recover. Just have to go back and pick up the debris now, but that should have completed the contract. And then we just do this one more again, and then it's done. This is good money. Tracking station. So where did they crash? In the blinding desert? That's what I'll call it from now on. So just pick that debris up. It's still worth something. Great. And for the final act of this tourist thing, we'll do that again. I just want to see stage was recovered again. Another 1,500. Sub-orbit, Sherbart's travel complete. Nedler complete. And now those 4 friends who went together complete their tour. Was a success. Nothing but great things to say about the trip, and brought back plenty of photos. So this is great for our reputation. The world is finally starting to hear about our achievements, more than before anyway. So I think, can we do anything in the admin building to use this prestige for funds or science? We could do that, get more money out of it. Or the unpaid research program. What should we take? I think really money is probably the thing here. Science is going to start flowing in as soon as we get a lab. So this is probably the better of the two. Okay, we can go up to 25%. So we're basically taking all of our reputation and spending it on getting money. We can likely raise some more money by exploiting the attention that we get out of new successful ventures to remind the well-to-do Kerbals out there that we could use their support and the contents of their wallets. This is probably going to be seen as a bit cheeky of us, so be prepared to face some backlash from the public. That's why we lose the prestige, because people get tired of us from our fundraising all the time. Anyway, back to the assembly building, and this will be Griffin 3. Back to the ocean, save. This will be Valentina again with Barton and Jongi. Launch. Good luck, comrades. Right, hypersonic research again. Let me just go in. I want to see how do you access this window here, because I see there's the joysticks that look out. This is for the docking, of course. So if we go into the capsule, I think you double click in the middle. No, that didn't quite work. How do you easily get access to that? Oh, docking mode. Double click on that window. Then we just obviously get out of our seat and we look out here, and so we can do the docking later on when we have the inline docking port, and then just press C to go back. So click there in the docking window. Interesting. Right, so we just go back down. Okay, the plane does seem to be a little unstable at very high speeds in the thick atmosphere. So of course now we just have to be careful not to get anyone to pass out. Well, Barton is enjoying this. Well, it is our first space plane, and it's fine. Burning off all that speed. I think it will happen anyway because the wings are tilted. And let's do the usual. I think we'll wait until we're within 1 kilometer. Now tilt up aggressively, and until we lose, basically until we stall. Right there. Deploy. Turn that off. And fall belly flop into the ocean. Maybe we'll lose the engine again, but it still looks like we'll go nose first, or at least we can do that. Wheels? Where we are going, we don't need wheels. And it'll get out of time warp itself, and boom, there we lose it again. Oh well, so it was actually better to have the parachute more to the back. Oh well. Right, so their tour is also finished, so recover them. And again, the debris, it's still worth something. Next, next, next. Right, just put the debris back on. Griffin 3, recover, recover, and recover. Turn that, off again. Okay, let's look at our messages, our inbox. Stage was recovered again. 2 tourists safely to their destination. Jongi complete, Barton complete. The tour was a success. Nothing but great things to say. So we see there our prestige is converted into cash. We still get 16, but 5 is taken for 5,000 bucks. So it's a good deal. Okay, comrades, I think the next step is to just have a look at our contracts again. We'll probably get a lot of these tourist missions now. There's another one for sub-orbit. We get quite a bit of money again. And of course there the prestige is taken for more cash. I think I'll take this. Later on, of course, the tours get more and more complex. Oh, they want orbit as well. Ooh. You see, read the fine print. That's the thing. I don't think we're ready for orbital tourists yet, so I'm not going to do that yet. Surveys. These are really good money makers. Above. Should I take this? I think I will. Alright. Let's hope I don't regret that. Okay. First thing though, I want to go into the tracking station and just forward time so that Chad can come home as well. So he needs to spend, what was it, 36 hours maximum. So, time warp. Okay, now I need to think here because these are Kerbal days. So 2, 6, 12. Alright, so 36 divided by 6 gives you, let me be embarrassed and look it up. 36. Actually, no, we want to get about 30 divided by 6. That's idiot. That's 5. So it's. My maths teacher would be so disappointed. Anyway, 5. So 5 Kerbal days. That's what happens when you're lazy. You let the computer do the work instead of your brain. Right, so he is now ready. We don't want to overuse this kind of capsule because it's not really made for long duration missions. So duration level 1 is its maximum that we can ever use it for. And Chad is giving me an earful right now. So we can never do it more than duration level 1. Unless of course it's part of a bigger craft. But we don't have life support mods installed. But still I want to play it like that. But at least not as strictly. So the stage will fall into the desert. That's fine. And hit that thing. And come home. Right there, stop. And with 2 meters per second left, let's just burn it off and say goodbye. I could also try and recover that stage, but of course it doesn't have a heat shield. Right, Chad, are you ready? You've spent a good amount of time. You are now our most experienced astronaut. You've spent the longest time in space. So that's awesome. And I will see you closer to the ground, comrades. I think actually, a side note, I'll probably use some of the other music that I licensed from Jewelbeat many years ago. I used one of those tracks in the Saturn V video as well, but I think I'll use them again. I actually bought the license for a couple of tracks back then, with the idea of using them in videos one day. Didn't know it would take 5 years, but that's alright. A bit late on the parachute. Into the ground. Deploy. and a lovely desert landing late in the day, so it's not going to be as blindingly hot. And there's the upper stage doing its thing. It also drops us out of time warp when the upper stage is crashing, but there we go. Right, so recover. Do we need any more science here? Probably not. Still the desert, so reset, recover. Chad is now a hero, and let's just have a look at the debrief. Shouldn't be too much new there. No science. Well, no, 0. A bit of funds back, and of course 2 XP for our hero Chad, and he is now also more experienced than Jeb. This cannot be. Anyway, is there anyone else here now? No. Tedster. Right, so let me think. What's the next goal? Oh yes, we need to mark some things off. Okay, here we are, comrades. Let me just take our green and our thick line, and then we want the extended duration level 1. We've done that. We have also done the space plane flight test. We did some flight tests, and we did again a test flight, but I'm not going to mark this one. This is for an orbital space plane. So I'll take the hypersonic research at the edge of space, level 1, tick that one off. And anything else? No, I think that was it. So I'll just save this, comrades. Okay, back again. Now let's just have a look at our research tree. We do have a nice pot of cash right now. I always like to think, what would the equivalent of this be in US dollars? But I do know it doesn't translate exactly, but I suppose we can say 1 Kerbal buck is $1,000. Again, it doesn't translate 1 to 1 really, but this would be about $329 million. Well, just sounds fancier, I guess. What we really want is this. This gives us the octo that we can use for the lunar flyby. Unless we just try it with the Sputnik, Stay Putnik. Let's do it anyway. Why not? Try it. Just a lunar flyby. Stay Putnik, our friend, of course. Let's see what we can do with this. So this is not going to be the Zond flyby, so in this case I'm not going to put a material study on this that has the living specimens. I'll just use the other ones. And this will be transmitted. Now let's think, can we do this nicely? Now let me think about this. Of course we can't put any fuel. Well, still, we can use this. This is the sort of body. Again, not really too nice and all that, but still. Well, actually, yes, so this is empty. So this is purely a structural element of our probe. Like that. I'm just playing around to try and make it look a bit more interesting. Empty. Yes, why not? Now again, guessing this is not the easiest. I just have to look at the green arrow there. Close enough. Right, of course we need a reaction wheel for this, so I might actually need to just put it up here. The closer to the center of the craft it is, the better for control. So that will do. Now we can put some experiments on. First, of course, batteries. We're going to need a lot of them. We don't have solar panels. So I'll put 2 in there and 2 in there. Of course, this is empty, so we can use this. Now that gives us... I swear there was a place we could see how much power we had on a craft. Oh, it's just down there. But is this not added by Kerbal Engineer? I'm not sure. I think this is actually added by Kerbal Engineer. Anyway, so that's 410. Is that enough? Maybe we'll add more. One there. And one there. This will be a high flyby. In the literal sense, not the metaphorical one. Could we even do that with a nice light there? But I'll put the experiments on the edges. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Now, what will we use? We want a thermometer. Of course, every time I do something like this, the craft becomes more unbalanced. Put one there. Barometer. They weigh the same. 5 kilos with a 0.005. That is 5 kilos. A goo container. I think we will add 2 of them. We'll just use one, but this is one of those cases. Unless we do it on the bottom, where we really do want relative stability, since I can't lock SAS. Okay, that should work, maybe. Close enough. Good, so there's our craft, comrades. Now we just need some antennas on this to send details back. Now this is going to be like the first Soviet flyby. What was it called? The Dream, I think, or something. It was renamed after its flyby because it became the first interplanetary object. So this will be the same. It will go on an escape trajectory. So antennas that look kind of semi-interesting. Maybe on the bottom. What I'll actually do is do it like this and then move it, so I don't have to place it one at a time. Right, that should look interesting. Still no action groups, but that's alright. I will put this on hibernation auto, so when we time warp it is not going to use power. And this weighs a total of 250 kilos, which is very light. Can I make something nice for this? It's not going to fit in here, is it? No. Well, we're not going to worry about fairings then. We just need a decoupler, which is of course going to be oversized, but that's okay because then it doesn't clip with anything there. I'll turn the force percent to next to nothing so it doesn't change our orbit, and then use actual struts just to make it look semi-plausible. There. No, this is not going to work on our Spire rocket, so let's use another stage with a Terrier that's 500 kilograms. Thud weighs even more than that. So in vacuum this gives us more than enough. So actually what I'll do in this case is I'm going to take our rocket just like the Atlas, you know. Obviously the Atlas was first used as an ICBM, but in terms of the space program it was used to put the Mercury in orbit, but it was also coupled with the what was the first one, the Agena upper stage, and then later the Centaur upper stage. So in that case it couldn't make orbit anymore, but it was still used, and then of course the new upper stage completed the orbit. So we'll do the same. Hopefully it will lift off still. That's the other problem. Too many parts. Oh, come on. Really? Is it possible to upgrade the VAB? Or can we just... How many? 3. Oh, no. I might skip the parachute there. We can also just use one antenna. What else? The struts. The struts also count. But without them, it looks like the thing is just hanging in mid-air. And this should be moved down anyway so that it doesn't clip into the goo container. I don't want to take anything off. Last time when we used the Proximo, we needed this stage to get into orbit, so it's not going to be enough to reach trans-lunar injection. That's why we need a new stage. Oh dear. Well, this one fires, this one separate. Still too many. Come on. What can I do? I think we'll upgrade. We just have to. So I'll save this first. So this is not going to be a Proximo satellite. Proximo is only for low Kerbal orbit. So I think we can call possibly, like all our first missions that fly by other moons or bodies and explore them for the first time, we can use one of the historical names like Mariner or Surveyor or Ranger. Pioneer. Let's call this Pioneer. It's not original, I know, but this is our Pioneer 1. I'm just going to save that with our flag, of course. Or badge. Save. Now let's go upgrade this thing. Spend all our tourist money and then some. Yikes. Doesn't leave us with much, but 100 million is still okay. Now at least we can build to our heart's content. Okay, so this is our new rocket. We'll still reuse the bottom stage, and then hopefully this will make it. So 2000, 1000, 2300, that should be more than enough. Now at least we see the data for the middle stage. So this is still the Spire 1B because of the parachute. Save again, and still desert. Because, for no reason, just because. We really need to show these other launch sites some love. Mostly they just get ignored. Right, nice sunset and no control. This is going to make it tough in orbit. For now we have the fins, so good luck, comrade Pioneer. And there it goes. So at least we're getting to that point where we're reusing our rockets. I like that. So we get used to them, you know, how they perform and what they do, and don't just make a custom one every single time. Only at the beginning because of the experiments. That looks fine. And I think I can slow down. In effect, your throttle is also your pitch control when you do this, because the faster you burn, obviously the more gradual your gravity turn will be, or the more gradually it will decay, I should say. You see now we're turning relatively fast, so punch it again. Now it slows down. And yes, the lower stage is suffering a little. It's not, you know, optimized for the weight that it has to lift, but as long as it gets off the ground, it's fine. Quite good. A good guide again is if you cross the 45-degree line by 15 kilometers. It's not an iron rule. You don't always have to do that, but it is a good guideline. Oops. That's terrible. Well, we're still going up to 37, so the atmospheric forces will decay. It's because of those empty tanks in the front, so they like catch the wind. But there, cities we're okay. Now we're in the thin atmosphere. This will take some husbanding again. Not too concerned about the angle. And just using fine controls. Let's see. Oops. Well, this one still gets us to the 70-kilometer point. So at this point, of course, that should have been the bottom stage, but now we still have this stage, and it still flips over. But that's fine. That's not a problem. We'll just burn this stage for the orbital insertion and for the trans-lunar injection, and then we'll ditch it so we can deploy the antennas. And hopefully they'll be enough to reach Kerbal, because we still have a level 0 tracking station. And around we go. Da 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 dum, bum 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 bum, ba 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 bum ba bum. I don't know if that's copyrighted, so let's not. It's better to mimic it instead of finding the track. And just again, doesn't have to be a perfectly circular orbit. It's fine. Quite stable now. Good. And very elliptical orbit, but c'est la vie, I guess. Whoops. Okay, now it's getting completely out of control. Never mind that. Now, where is our old friend? You know, we could have basically launched anyway. Now, this I'm going to have to do without maneuver nodes. So I think we'll just have to go to apoapse. Now, it will not use power, or at least very little. Stage recovered, stage destroyed was the upper stage, or intermediary stage. Right, roll back. Just lift it enough, that's it. So now we just have to go the old style, wait until we see the moon rise and then burn prograde. And okay, we won't see it there yet. Okay, I think it should come into range now. There it is, and burn. This is just a rough flyby. It doesn't have to be a very well planned thing. Okay. Map. Stop. Do we meet it now or not? I might have to do a correction burn to push our node down, so I don't know if this will escape. We'll see. We still have 400 meters left, so just extend this. I know it's now going to clip. Well, I'm just going to deploy the one. Now at this point I think we're doing okay, but I'm just going to burn down, what's this called now, anti-normal or whatever the case. And it's not going to make much of a difference, to be honest. I think we need more retro. It was a very sloppy burn, but okay. A first attempt for a lunar flyby shouldn't be too professional, right? At least it's going to crash back into Kerbal at the end of its journey. And I don't want this to be an impactor. We only have 19 meters per second left, but let's see what happens if we accelerate. F5. Come on now. Verily I say unto thee, watch thy time warp. Anyway, it's a success. It's not an impactor, and now we can do some science high over the moon, which is exactly what I wanted. And ditch the thing. And now we can not clip the antennas. And what's the result? We don't know yet. Is it going to crash back or be ejected from the Kerbal system? Give me a pressure data, please. It's 0, so we know there's no atmosphere around the moon, or we would have picked up some residual pieces of it. Transmitted. Please expose the goo to the vacuum. And it seems to be less dense, so very low gravity around the moon, so the moon is obviously less massive. Transmit that. Done, and give me a temperature reading. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible. Okay, but at least we know it's more harsh here because there's no atmosphere, so we transmit that. And that's it. So our experiment was a success, comrades. I'm glad, because I was worried there for a moment. Now I can maybe just, well, we don't need really screenshots here. F1, still, that's a nice looking thing. Now we just time warp and see what happens. And it's going to go back to 188. I think eventually it will be ejected from the system, just because it will meet the moon at some point, and then it might crash or be ejected. But let's find out. Zip. Better this than the upper stage, but that will also be ejected probably. Now maybe? No. Go around again. I'll just do it from the tracking station, which is obviously better. Maybe now. Nope. It seems to be timed just right, so it keeps missing the moon. Up. And there its orbit was just decreased, so now it was captured actually again in a much lower Kerbal orbit. So our first satellite to the moon will stay close to home. It's not going to be interplanetary. And yes, obviously its power will run out at some point, but we'll keep it here for now. So see you, wait, before we do that, before we say goodbye, let's just mark off our lunar flyby right there. So obviously ours was again a pioneer, well, not most original, but I like the name. And we did the lunar flyby, and then by extension also got the mapping of the surface of the moon level 1. Okay, comrades, see you next time. Have a fantastic day.